When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Probably know what that's from. Declaration of Independence, United States of America. Stay on the channel, stay on the video, give me 10 seconds here. So basically where I'm coming from is that at the end of the day, we want to know why. And that is a very key influential thing, whether I agree with it or not. And I can't say I totally agree with it, but it is arguably the most impactful document written in the last 500 years on my life, out of anything ever written in the last 500 years in the whole world. And that's pretty crazy. So some important stuff. Basically, this channel just being for, my name's Gabe. I'm the sole maker of content here. Basically, the idea being I've never done this before, and about last March to June, with all the changes in society that came, up out of the ground, right, that sprouted and grew like crazy, right? A whole bunch of things took off that had never taken off before, and some people, conspiracy theorists, might say, "Oh, it's been happening for a long time." Someone on the other end of, of philosophy and politics, even, right? The P word, the P words. May say that, oh man, that just came out of nowhere, right? And so point being is that, regardless of whether I agree with something or not, I want to be prepared for it coming. With the background I had growing up and still have, with the people I get to be around, a lot of business owners, that makes a difference, from all different walks of life. Some I agree with in aspects, and some I don't. I've loved having conversations with them, and mainly getting to listen to what they think. And most of them very busy people, and not by just a busy treadmill-ish, hamster on a treadmill, hamster on a wheel, busy, but hamster on a treadmill. That's a pretty funny one. But basically that, if you just if you take the pieces, right, in society and put them together, they spell something. And what they spell is a little different every day, right? So the document that's been most influential on my life, I think, that I've ever read, as far as this kind of stuff goes, would be from a book called Proverbs. And I read it when I first remember reading it. I was about 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And this phrase, because of this stuff, it's what got me interested in philosophy and stuff. And I just want you to know where I'm coming from. So this is why I love having conversations. And I hope this is at least like a 5 to 10 minute me talking to you conversation, and if you could talk back, what would you say, kind of thing, right? Or get your juices flowing so you can have a conversation with someone even better, right? I mean, we get too few of these conversations, and that's why this came up to me last spring and summer. Just something I'm passionate about is talking about things of substance and of value, and current events and past events, history, are all of value. Current events are often easier to relate to me, but no more or less value than history, if I understand how to get history. And so this is partly about getting history, to know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance, to understand a proverb and a saying, the words of the wise and their riddles. There's always people more brilliant, right? There's always people smarter. There's always people more informed, or more just ahead. They just seem to be ahead, right? And not to get caught up in the whole competition rat race, but to realize that, man, if I want to grow, and I do want to grow, and if you're got this far, you obviously want to grow. You at least like chewing things over, right? I got to go to places like that, places that tell me that I can move from simple to prudent. In other words, I can move from just kind of dumb as a brick, 6, 7, 8 years old, you may have a heart of gold as a little kid, but you're pretty dumb in ways, right? And there's so much to gain about prudence being discernment, right? So you can gain discernment. So here's the 3 articles I'm going to go to, and I'm going to keep this really simple. And I guess I should unpack what a proverb is real quick too, because that would be good, because kind of an odd word for some people, but basically it's a saying that deals with something fundamental in life, and it takes this fabric of life, all these things woven together, holding everything together, um, changing, it seems with a lot of things happening, right? But the fabric, the foundation is always there, or at least it needs to be. When it's ripped apart, you have some of these things happen that have been happening since early last year and before, really. But so proverb takes one of those things, one of those little strands, and in a concise little saying wraps it up. And there was about like 12, 15 strands there. You could probably say more. Someone older and wiser would say more. And not necessarily older, but wiser than me would say more. So anyways, discernment, be able to figure out what I'm reading. So I'm going to go with 3 things. I'm going to try to be as clear as possible here. First is I'm quoting from paper, because I'm old enough to enjoy reading a newspaper. You can find all these articles except for probably the 3rd one about Christmas trees. You probably can't find as much of that online, but you can easily, through a quick search, corporate insiders selling stock in December 2021 would be the first one. And then for the second one, I would search something about Army recruitment numbers for 2021, U.S. Army recruitment numbers. Look up every branch. And that would be interesting. I didn't get that far yet. And Christmas tree growers warn of tight supply. So you could just look up Christmas trees available or Christmas trees produced in 2021, something like that. It'd be a hard number to pull up, because I don't think that's documented anywhere. But anyways, so this first one is basically talking about how from the old Zuckerberg to the new Microsoft chief exec to Walton family, Walmart, $69 billion in stocks sold in 2021 as share valuation surged to record highs. New data from the SEC, which is Securities and Exchange Commission, filings show. And so basically where they're going with that, they're pointing out the 2 questions, right? Should you be worried? If you're invested, should you be worried? If you're not an investor, should you worry? I mean, that's a lot of, you got Elon Musk sold 10 million in Tesla. Didn't he just make a ton, right? Well, so two trains of thought. There's going to be 2 main lines of thought here, and they're worth fleshing out. So flesh it out after I touch on it. One, Elon Musk has made a ton of money. Elon Musk does a ton of projects. Elon Musk wants to make money, don't we all? So especially if we invest in something we want to return, whatever it is. It could be a relationship, it could be money, invest and return. Hopefully not as cold as that if it's a relationship, but financial relationships work that way. And so there is a law that allows you to sell those massive, like chief execs and stuff, to sell those massive amounts of shares without getting taxed so hard. The Microsoft exec, he's beating a 7%, at least 7% increase in his taxes if he were to sell those January 2022 or later. So Seattle's about to, or at least Washington, I think, is about to hit him with a pretty hard tax on that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's why that's relevant, is you got some of the biggest companies, you get the big indicators in the stock market, which for better and worse affects, in my opinion, but just my opinion. I'm not a financial guru or advisor. This is not financial advice. Just says, hey, they're dumping a lot more than they did. They're taking a lot of those earnings from 2020 and 2021. Amazon, 9.97 billion. 9.97 billion that Bezos sold. They're taking a lot of that profit, and they're not just skimming a little bit off the top for the end of the year to make some money for the year. They're taking a huge chunk of those profits and they're pocketing them. And that's their choice, right? Better or worse. I mean, I don't know if I would do the same thing or not. The other question being the fear, right? Could it also be the case that many see the writing on the wall, this writer Andrew Morin says? And it could be. It could be. So it's worth considering, right? I mean, could it be? Yeah, that's the question. I mean, that's $1 million question. Could not be. So who knows there? Um, Army recruitment up despite challenges. Army recruitment goes up when people are impassioned about something, and you have people who need to make money. Army is steady income, right? People are pretty negative, all in all, about job market, even though the numbers are given as being pretty good. All things considered, right? People, individuals, they're having a hard time finding the jobs they want or finding the careers they want going forward and thinking, oh, that's a viable option. And with the military, if you're the sort of person who would like that kind of thing or thinks you would, you got 3 square meals a day, you got a bed, you got income, you got a job, you can get fraternity there, whatever you want. And for some people, you can get a cause, and yeah, whatever else you're going to go in the army for. So, anyways, that's my take on that. Oh, excuse me, got burps. Um, that's my take on that, and it's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but I think that's just proof of the times we're in. And Christmas tree article just being because this is from, so these are all from Northwest Editions. First articles from December 18th through 14th of this year. The Army recruitment article you can find on the front page of the Northwest Edition for week of December 1st through 7th. And this is from Thanksgiving week of this year. And basically, you got this guy with a whole bunch of Christmas trees, and just pointing out how, supply chain issues, labor shortages, heat-related issues, floods, a lot less Christmas trees available. And you could look at agricultural shortages, we could call it, right, across the U.S., and you'd read a lot of articles on that. Whether there actually is as much as people say has been debated. It's really interesting because I have a friend, one of my oldest friends, who lives in Nebraska right now, and among other people has said that they don't have any shortage of things. I mean, toilet paper has been off the shelves and people go nuts buying a ton of toilet paper, but that's about it. And so, I don't know, it's interesting, right? So there's 3 things to take in hand for the time of year. Remember, it's December. Everything's flying off the shelves. Everyone's trying to get lined up for the tax year. And we'll see what happens in January. And also worth noting that I think it's February, March, that all the all the student loan deferments are going to expire. That'll be a big deal. I feel for them. I've been someone with student loans. That is cruddy. So yeah, knowing your deferment's about to expire is no joke. So we'll see what happens with that. I think the best thing we can take is just prepare. Like I said, find a nugget to glean from this. And in the future, I won't be spending time reading you books of wisdom, and old documents as much, but just going with a topic and focusing on that. So, without further ado, thanks for joining me. Hope this was fruitful. Leave a note in the comments, punch that like button, subscribe, and help me get out there and get room to improve and give you some good product. Anyways, enjoy your Christmas.